Let's go, team.
The Club Crew World Championship, in my opinion, is the most fun.
So, Tommy, where's dragon boating in the States sitting right now?
We had 30 clubs represented, which was the most in the world. We just formed a new official youth committee.
Competitive.
What advice does Tommy give that paddler before they hop in the boat?
It's you and the sharks.
Be patient and have fun.
Like, how many world titles do we have to have in dragon boating, really?
Good question. So
why do you think the USA is improving so rapidly, Tommy, at the moment?
I think what's happened is that we've
Paddles ready. This is Paddles Ready, the global voice of paddle sports. Live commentary, race coverage, athlete stories and expert analysis from across the world of paddling. From dragon boat racing to ocean ski, this is where the competition, the culture and the stories come together. Let's get into it.
How are you, mate? Good to have you back.
Oh, good to be back. It's early in the morning here because we've got someone all the way over in the US of A, Dougie.
We have delivered in spades, and on our podcast this morning, our special guest comes all the way from the USA. It's Tommy Leonardi, our US Dragon Boat Federation president. Tommy, welcome to Paddles Ready.
Thanks for having me. I almost feel like I'm in Australia.
You don't want to be here at the moment. It's pouring rain and it's cold, but nowhere near the States, I'm guessing, when it comes to cold. We're still in board shorts and T-shirts.
Now we're doing all right here. It's May. It's mid-spring and starting to get warm again, so I'm happy.
Oh, that's it. So what's the time where you are, Tommy?
It is 6:04 p.m.
Good start. So before we get started, Nico, I thought just for the people out there who aren't too sure the credentials of Tommy and what he's done for the sport, and he has done a lot for the sport over the last 30 years. He's done 30 seasons there over in the States. He's competed and coached in over 14 IDBF world champs. He has currently won 52 world champion medals, which consisted of gold, silver, and bronze as a paddler and both as a coach. As I said earlier, when we started, he's president of the USDBF, president and assistant coach of the Philadelphia Dragon Boat Association, and what have we got here, Tommy? And Dragon Boat Club in North America, and technical and strategy coach for Philadelphia Flying Phoenix. Mate, that's a big bio. You've got plenty of runs. You've got plenty of runs on the board. Let me tell you.
Was that a baseball or cricket?
Well, I thought the same,
there.
but we'll take baseball. We're in the States. We'll take baseball.
All right.
Yeah, and Tommy, that is fantastic. Seeing you and obviously Doug and I, we had the pleasure for everyone tuning in. We had Tommy calling us in Brandenburg with the races, which was fantastic, right on the foreshore. Tommy, how did you like that?
Well, I wasn't expecting you to ask me to actually call a race. I thought I was going to be at a microphone, filling in between races, maybe giving a little color commentary. And then all of a sudden a race is about to start. You give me the microphone and the sheet and you're like, hey, Tommy, why don't you call the next race? And I'm surrounded by two professionals. So I was like, all right, let's go. Apparently, people are usually pretty candid in the comments during the live stream, and no one told me to get the heck off the stage. So I guess I held my own, but nothing compared to you two.
No, but it was good. We were just talking about on that comment just then, the interaction when the people were coming in from all over the world. They're hearing your voice. They've known your voice for so many years. And actually, Dougie, we couldn't get him off. It's like Tommy's like, no, stay, next race. It's all good. It's all good. Stay the next race. And
it was fun.
And are you going to be in the club crew in Taiwan?
Oh, yeah. Going to Taiwan.
Oh, well, we got you on there again then.
Yeah, we get a special guest. I mean, I remember when you were on, Tommy, at one stage there, I remember because I was doing all the numbers and the analytics. I think at one stage there when you were on, I think we had 4,800, 5,000 viewers watching at the time with you commentating, along with Mary. So, and then we had Julie as well. Between the three of you, we had some great special guests.
Good friends of mine. They're excellent.
No, good stuff. So, Tommy, where's dragon boating in the States sitting right now? Is it motoring along? Is it things you could do better?
Well, we don't take anything for granted, that's for sure. I never do. I'm always looking to learn. But at the last club cruise in Ravenna, we had 30 clubs represented, which was the most in the world. Second was Australia with 24. So that was amazing. And one of the reasons why we have such a large representation now is because a few years ago, we decided to have a true national championship where all of the berths for the club cruise are awarded. So now teams had to train and race against each other in order to qualify to go to the Club Crew World Championships. And it's just become just bigger and better. And it's just wonderful to see. And I could just tell a quick story. What drives me is that every time I'm doing this and thinking about who I'm representing or thinking about where I'm going on a trip, I'm living my childhood dream. Okay, when I was a kid, I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. We were poor, right? So you're in New York, it's hustle bustle, but we couldn't afford to travel anywhere. And just my luck, I happened to be in South Brooklyn, which was equidistant between the three of the largest airports around, right? LaGuardia, Kennedy, and Newark. And because I was only maybe 5 or 10 miles away from all of them, I would always see planes overhead and always wondering where they were going and always wanted to go where they were going. And it was a giant tease as a kid. So every time I'm on a plane going to a dragon boat event, I always think about how fortunate I am to be doing what I dreamed of as a kid and doing it in a sport that I love. And one of the reasons why I love supporting this so much is I see so many other paddlers getting these same opportunities. I love talking to rookies who go to their first world championships and ask them how it is. And just the look in their eyes, and they just have this glow and this fire. And that's what it's about for me.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you touched on that, because it's about bringing all the cross-border, cross-continent, and look, you have the Olympics, and then you've got national championships, and you've got stuff. But as like you said, you've got paddlers, especially the club crew, from Panama, from China, from Dubai to Australia, and they meet, they talk, they collaborate, and they do that. So I'm really glad that you touched on that, and Dougie was sort of going on to where is USA dragon boating. Dougie, at the last Nations, and correct me if I'm wrong, you had like 900 athletes in Brandenburg, was it, Dougie?
Wait, 900 total? Are you talking about Australia?
No, the USA. Didn't you have one of the largest contingents of paddlers?
I forgot the number, but it was gigantic.
It was huge. Yes. It was huge.
Yeah. We had a lot of people. It's a lot of juggling.
No, exactly.
While the Nations World Championships is obviously the most competitive because you have your top national teams going against each other, the Club Crew World Championship, in my opinion, is the most fun because you have, like you said, so much more representation. You have more countries, and you have everything from national team level athletes against other clubs who are just so happy to be there and to observe and compete and learn. And to me, that's my favorite by far is the Club Crew World Championships.
Yeah. Well, I know the Aussies. I mean, remember, Nick, we had a great youth. The girls were there, the young Aussie team. I mean, these are guys putting their hands in their pocket to travel to the other side of the world. They're barely out of university or still in university. A couple of them were still doing their, A-levels in year 12 or high school, and here they are. They're mixing it with the best, and they're showing how strong the youth is in the sport. by getting out there and paddling against the rest of the world. I think our contingent, or not contingent, our team, I say our team because Australia, I think to get to the other side of the world shows that the youth of the sport is in good shape coming through.
Absolutely. Well, the American schools, they were pretty dominant over in Germany as well.
Yeah, well, we won the Youth Cup. Nathan Salazar was our main youth coach, did an amazing job. And, hopefully we'll just keep going that way. In fact, we just formed a new official youth committee at the USDBF level, because at the IDBF level, they're making more of a strong push for a youth commission. So as a result, all the countries are being asked to have more of a formalized youth commission or committee themselves, and we definitely followed right into that.
That's awesome. That one, the IDBF are doing that, and also the US Dragon Boat Federation. So let's go down that path a little bit, Tommy, and get your expertise and unpick your brain. The USA is so big. There's so many clubs. Then you get that national team for the youth, the under 24s, all the way up to senior Ds. How do you make and over the years we've seen it, and I've seen it with the USA, even touching back when that World Title Nations Cup in Penrith, when the USA beat China, time of 148, Dougie, I think it was. Fast forward 30 years. Sorry, Doug.
Oh, no, 19 years ago it was, 2007.
2007.
Yeah.
So fast forward, how do you pick, what's the criteria to obviously all different clubs have different coaches, do you guys have a guideline? And love to hear how the USA, not that you want to give too many tips away, we'll talk about technique later, but how do you manage that, and how is it formed? We'd love to hear that, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people tuning in would love to understand this as well.
So, I mean, we don't dictate anything to clubs, right? Every club has their own way, but the OC1 outrigger canoe one-person time trial has become the main standard, I would say, in the U.S. for choosing your clubs, your best clubs. Without a doubt, the three top clubs at last year's nationals, I know for absolute fact, used OC1 time trials as the only criteria, and it works. Some people say, well, does it really translate? Yeah, it really translates. Like, you can literally take the data from your time trials and put them in a relatively simple formula and predict to within less than a second what your team is going to do on the water if and only if they execute on race day correctly. So the power is already measured. What you do with them on race day is the question. But if you execute correctly, there is no surprises on race day. There is no, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. It's power in the boat, and it works as fast as you can make it go. So yeah, we've definitely discovered that.
That's amazing. And look, we saw it transition, Dougie, from the New Zealand, just the latest Australian Championship. We had the Wairo 100 waters come over, all outriggers, and Tommy, they absolutely annihilated everything.
They came over pretty much for one race, I reckon. They came over, they got the job done and went home. And it was
we went head to head with them in Ravenna. They were right there with everybody. Absolutely.
Now, Tommy, Nick and I were having a chat about this just recently and touching on the crossover. And, we're seeing a lot of paddlers from different disciplines now coming to dragon boating. You got your OC1, you got your sprint canoes, you've got stand-up, you've got, are you seeing that a lot in the States now? That a lot are coming over, the CrossFit guys, swimmers?
What's interesting is that typically your top paddlers in the U.S. were varsity athletes in college and or high school. Very athletic people who now find another place. A lot of former swimmers, for sure, former rowers, but we had one person in Ravenna who was a national champion, ultimate frisbee player in college. So, it could be any sport.
Competitive.
Yeah, and you learn how to do it. So, you find what you have and you teach them how to do it. Now, people who are already paddlers, okay, I love talking to paddlers who only recently got into dragon boating but have been doing, say, outrigger for a long time. And I was a little skeptical, are the longtime outrigger paddlers going to really like dragon boating, or are they going to thumb their nose at it? They love it. The reason why they love it, they tell me, they go, it's so awesome having boats so close to you. Because if they're out there in the ocean doing a long race, it's pretty lonely out there, right?
It's you and the sharks.
Yeah, it's exactly. So they really get into it. It's wonderful to see, like the Danny Chings of the world, come back year after year to paddle dragon boat with us. One of the best outrigger paddlers in the world. Loves being
Danny
part of
paddle
this
with
as well.
you guys?
Yeah, U.S. Yeah, he lives in California.
Nice. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Might have to get. He can be your special guest soon. I think, Tommy.
Oh yeah, I would definitely. He should be a great interview.
So, Tommy, leaning into that, what you were just saying about the strength of the OC1 stand up, blah blah, all that. Where's that sit for the United States as far as does it favour you in the long game, in the distance, or having these guys, or is sprint where you want to be?
No, it's very clear that the U.S. excels most at the World Championships in the 1,000 and the 2K, right? And then the 500, it's usually an absolute battle, and then the 200. Now, this is interesting. At the national level, the U.S. at the 200 is usually fighting, behind some of the other countries. But at the club crew level, the U.S. is starting to do much better in the 200. And the reason is, and I'm going to give a little secret here, but too many clubs in this world in the short distance try to paddle as if they're a national team. And it's a very different animal being on a national team with 20 super elite paddlers who can sustain a super high rate, and then attempting your club of 20 people who, let's face it, if you're a club, a lot of your people on your team are not premier national team athletes. It's just impossible to have that many people. So we've, worked into that and noticed that there's a compromise there in terms of what you do at your stroke rate and your strategies. But yes, at the nation's world championship level, you watch China, you watch Thailand, especially in the 200s, and it's crazy.
And what I've seen personally throughout it, Dougie, is the other nations are picking their rating way up because they've got to be. You remember the starts, Tommy? 30 years ago, it was 1, 2. Now it's just off the block.
In the short distance, yes. Yes. I mean, it was amazing to watch the Chinese Premier Open team in Germany win the 200 by, I don't know if it was open water, but it was almost a boat length, which is absurd. But then in the longer distances, all of a sudden, the gap got tighter and tighter. So, it goes to show you can only do so much.
I think Canada was the first time that China had beaten in a straight race in Brandenburg in that Premier. I don't know if it was the mixed, or I don't think it was the Open. I think it was the possibly the Premier mixed. So
yeah, I forget exactly which one, but yes, Canada is really. I mean, look, Canada, U.S., China, Thailand, when they're at the Worlds, are usually battling it out, for that Nations Cup.
Well, that was going to lead into my next question. Globally, from what you're watching and what you're seeing, who are crews and also countries who are setting the standard in the sport right now that you're liking?
Well, I mean, like I just mentioned, right? You've got obviously Canada's always super tough. China's always super tough. US, we're battling right there. And then, Germany stays close. Australia, I've noticed a significant improvement from this cycle to the past. Something different's going on there. Yeah, and you never take anything for granted. You just don't know who
the UAE finally in Germany. I think you reached out and said, Nick, give me a month with these guys. these guys are athletes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. We could chat about that later.
No. And my favorite, Dougie, used to be Miramar, Indonesia. I love Indonesia.
Yes.
Indonesia. I love Indonesia.
So why do you think the USA is improving so rapidly, Tommy, at the moment? Well, what's different?
I'm not sure if it's improved more because, as we mentioned earlier, we won the Nations Cup in 2007 and 2011. I think what's happened is that our ability has spread further around the country, and as a result, we're strong top to bottom, right? So, juniors won the Junior Cup. The Premier was close to Nations Cup, but not quite, but right there. And then our seniors were close. Canada won the Senior A Nations Cup. So, it's spreading the word. It's trying lots of different ideas and techniques and being collaborative and being open to saying what works, what doesn't. Let's try this. Because here's the overarching thing. I mean, even though this sport was created, invented 2,000 plus years ago, it's only been internationally organized for about 40 years, 40 plus years.
Well, that's what Julie said to us. I couldn't believe you see the dominance of Canada in Brandenburg just recently or anywhere. And then Julie's, we're 40 years old. And yet it's just like how far they've come.
Compared to other sports we might be familiar with, right? I'm very familiar with, say, baseball, basketball. The strategies and the techniques, I've noticed them change in the last 20, 30 years. And these are sports that have been around for 100 years or more. So if those sports are always finding new edges, what's the learning curve of Dragon Boat? It's even steeper, and things are changing quickly because we're all still kind of new at this, believe it or not, compared to other sports.
Well, that's a fantastic, because on an earlier show we had we were talking to Mr. Luo from Champion Dragon Boats, and back in the 90s we used to have the teak boats, and I don't know whether if Philadelphia, like, they're one of the oldest clubs.
We had the teak boat.
Yeah, let's put your coaching hat back on. Where you coached and how you coached. Where do you see the US coach? Because so many clubs and teams and national teams that I've seen over the last, since 1993, they go to a championship and they come back and they try to, I'm going to try and do the Thai stroke or the Indonesian stroke or the Filipino stroke. Does America have their own hybrid stroke? What you try and do the perfect? Because you got, as Dougie said, you got sprint canoeists, C1s, outriggers. What do you feel is the USA technique?
There is no USA technique. Okay, there are teams that are still doing the old Canadian stroke that very few Canadians even do anymore. It's like it's delay. Then there are teams that are doing what they're trying to copy the Philadelphia stroke. Whereas here in Philadelphia, we're always looking for an edge. So now in Philadelphia, we're taking what we already did really well in Philly and now adding some of the kind of nuances and discoveries that I was able to hone in my 4 years coaching the Bucks County Club, which is a club just north of Philadelphia. So to his credit, Bob McNamara, the head coach of Philadelphia, first coach inducted into the IDBF Hall of Fame.
That's a name that is synonymous to dragon boating.
Yeah, and you should interview him. He's a great interview. But he's always looking for an edge too. I mean, here's someone who's been coaching for 40 years and is always open to something new. And we've collaborated, and we're bringing some new ideas even into Philadelphia. And these are ideas that I've either learned from other paddlers that I've spoken to, or kind of sometimes you learn from new paddlers. One day I was out working one-on-one with somebody, teaching them how to isolate a certain part of the body. And I started watching her do something, and I was like, what are you doing? She goes, oh, I'm just isolating that part. And I'm like, hey, I like that. That's a drill. So she created a drill that I wouldn't even thought of, because she was so kind of raw and just trying it out. So you always got to be open to something new, and it could come from anybody at any time.
Well, Dougie, you mentioned this earlier on. You've got techniques, you've got new paddlers, but then when you're winning by sometimes 1/100th of a second, and then you get down to the minutiae of, hey, the more force I'm putting on the paddle, I've got slippage, the torque's not there, and then that leads into the paddles evolving, Dougie, from your old wood paddle to the carbon fiber, to different designs, to different makeup and testing of it. That's a whole other different level, which can pick up hundreds of seconds in a team.
Well, that's what I was thinking, like what technical adjustments can be made that can instantly give a boat better speed, Tommy?
Well, I mean, one overarching thing I would say is a quiet paddle is a fast paddle, okay? And that's something Bob McNamara has been saying for decades. If you're paddling and you hear a whoosh, next stroke, you got to get rid of that whoosh. That's telling you that you aren't as deep as you want to be during that stroke. If it's quiet, it's going to be faster. So that would be your number one thing, is just make sure it's as quiet as possible. And obviously there's lots of other nuances and techniques that go into that. But
yeah, that beautiful hit and glide that we love.
Well, I don't like the term hit, and I'll tell you why. I give an analogy when I'm coaching. Okay, paddling is not like hitting a ball. It's like throwing a ball. Okay, to throw a ball, you hold it as long as you can and accelerate that arm and hold the ball as long as you can until you have to release it. Hitting a ball is almost an instantaneous contact. So instead of trying to hit the water, you want to hold the water and feel like you're throwing the boat forward as opposed to hitting the water. So that's an interesting nuance there. When you said hit, different way of looking at it. It makes a huge difference. When paddlers start to feel like they're holding the water, then they're getting more power. It should not be an instantaneous contact with the water.
And we see that with the longer, like you look at the stroke rating, Dougie, even in Brandenburg, it's like the Chinese are almost double the Americans on that 1,000 meter. However, you've got that power through the water. You're getting the full water on the blade. Yeah, beautiful. I like it. Bringing baseball to dragon boating by Mike.
The beautiful thing about the sport is, like, you can watch a German team and a U.S. team, and a Canadian team, and a Thai team, and a Chinese team, going down, all pretty close with completely different stroke rates. And there they all are, depending on their mindset, their philosophy, and also their body shape, right? If your average height of your team is 6'4", you're not going to go at 110 strokes per minute. I mean, you can't do it. So you have to really think about what works for your crew.
So Tommy, we're obviously not wrapping up, but I had a few questions. I do a segment on the podcast called 60 Seconds with Dougie, and they're rapid fire questions, 3 or 4. So I'm going to put you on the spot, and we're going to go here. We're not calling 60 Seconds with Dougie will be up later, but this is a special 60 Seconds with Dougie with Tommy Leonardi. Okay, best crew culture you've seen?
Philadelphia and South Breeze. Okay, South Breeze is a club in Southern California that took the best talent from all the local clubs, but still gives back. They had all these people in these local clubs that wanted to take it to another level. So the best paddlers created South Breeze, but the best paddlers all coach and compete with their original clubs. Philly, because we were the oldest club in the US, kind of did in reverse. As we grew and got better, many of our paddlers also became coaches of other local teams as a result. So, two great clubs doing amazing things on the water, but also giving back and helping others and not just keeping their secrets to themselves.
Cool. Okay, toughest nation to race?
China and Canada right there too, depending on the distance, without a doubt.
Cool. Most underrated country, paddling country?
New Zealand. We already hit on it, but they're coming. All right. Oh yeah. I saw what they did at the Club Cruise in Ravenna. I was like,
they're paddling from Tonga, Samoa, to New Zealand to get there, man.
Yeah. Well, when you're racing against people with tattoos on their faces, you're you're in for a fight.
All right. Favorite race distance?
As a coach or as a paddler?
Both.
Okay.
Double prong question.
As a paddler, the 2000, because you're out there longer, you're trying to catch up to other teams, past other teams. Okay. My least favorite race as a coach is the 2000, because when you're not in the boat and you're watching your team and there's a certain amount of luck and who's in their way, who's not in their way, who's crashing, and you're about to lose your mind, you have no control of the situation and it can drive you nuts. So yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword, that 2K, depending on what hat you're wearing.
Tommy Leonardi heads down to the boat shed. There's a young paddler there. What advice, who's never paddled before, what advice does Tommy give that paddler before they hop in the boat?
Be patient and have fun. There are so many moving parts to paddling that as long as you're patient and learn and slowly put things together, you'll get better and better. You need to be very patient in this sport. It's something I tell everyone I coach. Just relax. It'll come. Just keep working on it. Beautiful thing about the sport is that you can build good muscle memory because it's repetitive. Downwind
or grind?
Oh, definitely downwind. Come on.
After a regatta on a Sunday afternoon, what does Tommy do? Lemonade or a beer?
Oh, lemonade.
Lemonade?
Definitely not I don't do alcohol. Nah. Well,
we've done
it depends on how much tension there need to be relieved after a race. But usually I keep it.
Well, that leading to my next question. Coffee before or after training?
I don't drink coffee.
Okay.
You think I need coffee?
Early morning or late starts for training?
Oh man. Early morning, but that's just because I was kind of forced into it in Philly. It's actually a great story.
Okay. Favorite regatta you've attended over your 30 years?
Favorite regatta? Without a doubt, Ravenna 2024. So many incredible special moments. Winning world championships with the Philadelphia team paddling, winning a world championship and other medals, coaching a different team, and being there with so many incredible people. There was just so much love at that event among everyone. It was wonderful. I love the Club Cruise. It was just such an amazing event.
So Tommy, my last question, and I've been dying to ask this one this morning. how did you get into the sport of dragon boating? What got you, and how did it all happen, and how did it evolve over the last 30 years?
Love these questions.
All right. Well, back in the mid 90s, there were two guys named Dave Langer and Steve Hartman who were classmates of mine at the University of Pennsylvania. And they were rowers at Penn. And then we would train at the gym together locally in Philadelphia, and they were doing dragon boating now. And they're like, you should come out. You'll love this. And I'm like, what time are the practices? And they're like, 5:45 a.m. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to practice at 5:45 a.m. No way, no how.
Not some dude from Brooklyn anyway.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's eating his Philly steak. He's eating his Philly steak sandwich then.
Yeah, Well, something unfortunate happened. Late 1996, my girlfriend dumped me, and I found myself having trouble sleeping. So it was like March, and I'm like, well, I can't sleep anyway. So let me call Steve and see about this dragon boat thing. So
Wow.
my first practice was late March 1997. The temperature was slightly below freezing. The water was slightly above freezing. You start paddling, anything splashing was freezing on contact on everyone's outer layer. And the first 4 minutes I'm doing this, I'm like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. But the 5th minute, when I was warmer, I said, hey, this is fun. And that's it.
That's it.
That's the
Boom.
story. Deborah, thanks for dumping me, because if you hadn't, I would not be here right now. Without a doubt.
A date with Debbie.
Sounds like that's how the Philadelphia Ice Dragons was born.
The what?
The Philadelphia Ice Dragons, with the cold and the ice and all that kind of stuff.
Oh no, we definitely try not to be on the river when it's frozen. That's a dangerous situation.
Does it freeze there?
Oh my God, we had one of the coldest winters ever. It actually was frozen enough this year that you could walk across it. They were warning people not to do it, but people were doing it. I didn't do it, but
That's where you have to get the ice dragons. We're going to Mongolia in January to see Mr. Luau up in Champion up there. So
okay.
Tommy, thank you so much. That was awesome, mate. Thank you for answering those questions. We get a little bit more of a personal insight to Tommy and everyone there. I hope you enjoyed our podcast with him today, all the way from the States.
absolutely. We'll see you in Taiwan in just a few months. Well, Tommy from Philadelphia, the president of the Dragon Boat, United States Dragon Boat Federation. I'm Hando.
I'm Dougie.
I'm Tommy.
And we are
Paddles Ready.
Well, good morning. We are day 2 here at the Aussie Champs, and I am down at the Brisbane River Dragons, and I have found
Mark Slater.
G'day, Mark. This is 60 Seconds with Dougie, in case you don't know, and I am the voice of paddlers on the ground. What's worst excuse you have heard from someone to miss training?
It's traffic.
Okay, downwind or grind? Early morning training or sleep-ins?
Sleep-ins for me.
Or what's more important, fitness or technique?
Both really important. Technique particularly.
Carbon fibre or wooden paddle?
Carbon fibre.
Coffee before or after training?
Generally after.
Biggest talker on the boat?
Mutton Velka.
Sprint or distance?
Sprint.
Beers or lemonade on the Sunday Arvo once you're done?
Is
Favourite regatta you've competed at around the world?
Club Cruise Adelaide.
Your one tip that instantly makes a junior paddler a better paddler?
Follow your coach.
Complete this sentence, Mark. If I wasn't paddling, I'd be...
Playing golf.
Beautiful. Thanks. That's 60 Seconds with Dougie.
And that's Mark, ex-president of Queensland Dragon Boat Association and BRD stalwart and legend.
Hey, Nico, how are you?
Dougie, that was an awesome podcast. What? Don't tell me you got another one for me, because you keep ripping these one into it. You got to tell me.
This
something.
is the hot takes. We're now Dougie's hot takes.
Dougie's hot take again.
I feel,
What have you got for me today?
Well, what have I got for you today? Just thinking, is the sport at risk of diluting itself like boxing? Like, how many world titles do we have to have in dragon boating, really?
Good question. So there's a club crew, which is every 2 years.
Yes.
Then there's the world titles.
Yep.
So I don't know whether it's diluting, like boxing, and that's had me the IDBF. Sorry, the
WB or whatever.
W.
it is,
Yeah, all that.
All that.
There is ICF World Championships. There is IDBF World Championships.
Yep.
I don't know whether there's ever going to be a combined one.
Yep.
That would be a great question for it.
What about the canoe? Is there the international canoe?
ICF.
ICF.
Well, that's
right. Yep.
paddle. That's the global paddle. So that's the Olympic
Yeah.
side of the thing. That's the ICF, and then you have the IDBF. So,
Yep.
and it'd be really interesting to see what are the times compared for those two world titles. Diluting, I think it's great that you have a club crew, all the teams, and they have to compete for it. So, hot take. That's great question. Great question. It's one for it's a lot of thought can come from the viewers all around the world because there are a lot of European championships, Australian championships. Then they all qualify.
Yep.
For world titles to the club crews, and then they go for the Nations Cup. And then there's the Nations Cup in China, where they have the 100-meter races.
Yeah, gotcha.
100-meter Phantom Call. That could be one.
We might do a Phantom Call.
Yep.
We might do a Phantom
100
Call.
meter.
100 meters.
100-meter Handos.
Well, I just wanted to ask you that question. It was just like I was kind of I was wrestling with it last night when I was planning everything, and I just thought, could there be a risk that we go down too far? Is there too many world titles? Do we run the risk of going down the boxing route, or are we in a good place? And I feel we're in a good place.
Absolutely, but some of these world titles are over 6-7 days.